Live. Sort of. We're alive, but are we alive? So it's the one,
with that 30-second.
well, that and, whatever's going on collectively for both of us. I'm not sure if we're back to full bloom and allergy season in our neck of the woods, but it's also cool that this makes Mondays a little better. Looking forward to doing this, but by the time we get through recording 2 or 3 pedals and get to the live show, we're like, it's Monday night.
Yeah.
So you get the goofy part of us, at least me. I should speak for myself, but
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
Well, I gotta mute you.
Mute me.
Yeah, because you're playing. Oh my gosh. So, hi and welcome to us being apt up. Alright, there we go. So the chat, people were talking in the chat, but I just minimized it and I don't know where it went. So give me 1 second and we'll get it up and we'll say hi to you.
Hi.
Oh my. There it is. So, Brian Landreth.
Nice.
Good to see him. Stephen Whitney. Matt Barnhart. My daughter.
Yes.
Mom says hi. They're traveling, so hopefully they'll be home soon. They went to see my son. Brian, you'd appreciate that. My son's driving through town. He lives out west, but he's driving his truck through town, so they just drove 2 hours to eat dinner with him as he waits for his load.
Dan in New Jersey. What's up, man?
Awesome. So, wow. I feel like we had so much time before the live had to start, and then all of a sudden we're like,
then we started,
oh, the live has to start.
Started watching stuff on YouTube, started listening to stuff on your phone, changing guitar sounds, because you go from an amp that's on 4 to an amp that's on 2, and moving pedal boards, tripping over stuff. But here we are. Truck it up.
Yes, sir. So, what do we... I think we get into it.
Do we?
What do we do tonight?
Okay, so what we did tonight was, in reverse order, I'll let you talk about that, because that's a cool pedal.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not sure. Every now and then we do one, and you walk away from it just feeling a little bit icky. But did this tonight? I did. I felt like I need to take a shower.
It's kind of like sometimes you go to New York City. You're like, I'm not sure that was good. I probably need a shower.
Right. I felt a little icky after. But, sometimes you watch it back and you're like, okay, it wasn't bad. This is the Believe by Love pedal. What a cool pedal. But
we could maybe play that again, because you should try this, because I've still never played that.
Yeah. That's weird. So we did that. We did have on the board an overdrive from Barber Electronics.
So that for
we also had on the board the bone tender.
But for those who might not know what that is, because we do have a variety of players style-wise here.
So the Believe is an octave up.
Yeah. So
it's like if you would go into an old Octavia pedal and take the octave out. So it's not like you're...
Doesn't have to drive with it.
Right, but it's also not like that pretty Pog octave up, that polyphonic thing. Right. It's the nasty one. Did you see? You probably didn't see it. I'll have to send it to you. Brian Landreth did a little...
He sent me a message on Instagram.
Okay, with his with his blackface pedal.
And I shockingly told him that I liked it better with the gain down lower.
Really?
Yeah, I shocked myself.
Yeah, I thought it sounded great.
Yeah.
I tell him to post a link, but I don't think he can post a link in here.
You're going to finish that, and then we can maybe answer Steven's question. We could probably do that.
So, Brian, I'm not real sure how this whole YouTube thing live works, but if I hit add you as a moderator, that will allow you to post a link, I believe, right? So if you want to post a link to that video. So, let's try that. Brian is now a moderator.
Nice. Show just got better.
Yeah, it did. I don't know what powers I just gave him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We got 4 new subscribers tonight. Let's not lose them.
So, but Brian, if you want to post a link to that, that'd be cool. You're welcome to do that.
So we'll hold Steven's thought for 1 second. So listen real quick. So why did I just play Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time? If you fall, I'll catch you. I'll be waiting, because we did that. It's the Decibel 11. I almost say it's Amp 11 because it's a love pedal. Decibel 11, time after time. Not girls want to have fun, but time after time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. And these two girls, we had so much fun with this. It was a pedal. It's an analog delay with the ability to store 11 presets, and it has MIDI, which probably a MIDI cable will never be plugged into this. And then the different knobs actually have secondary functions. They're like not a push pull, but a push down.
Yeah.
That, if you push the delay time, then it becomes the tap tempo. It engages the tap tempo. That's my phone. You're welcome. Sorry. And then if you have one that's for the mod, it'll change the mod. So we had, we kind of went through somewhat quickly with this, but it's actually a pretty small footprint. Pretty powerful. The Beard's trying to get me talked into like getting, at least, I don't need all 11, but maybe like 4 different presets that I like, because usually over there off camera, I like to run my delays through a loop, so it sits on top of the PV Classic 30. So if I had like 4 different presets, I could just get up and go hit one, because it's always like, hey, could you turn this up and down, or try to switch the cable over there. So kind of anxious to do this. Brian's drunk with power. Nice.
I didn't know that people got wrenches. I mean,
right.
Might have handed out too much. I
So
just wanted you to be able to post a link, man.
So do you want to scroll back down? Yeah.
Yeah. So Steven said, would you guys ever do a video like worship on a budget, guitar, amp, and pedals? Let's say $600 to $650.
I think we right now, with our current inventory of gear, we might struggle with the amp included in that, maybe, because the PV Classic 30s are a solid 3+ used generally, and that's more than half your budget. But maybe between the Firefly or the Tajima,
right,
and some of the matter of fact, this might be a good segue for this right here. This, I was at the big box. I don't know if you can even see that down here. Coming up. There it is. So Dan Electro has maybe the Billionaire series now. And it's brand new. On sale, though. I just got a brand new, really nice tremolo for $35. And we've got the Behringer Overdrive that's supposed to be like we could probably do it. The answer is yes.
We probably could.
It'd be close.
What's our
6 to 650.
6 to 650. I think the hard thing is the amp, but that's where I would put the money. And right. So if you're willing to watch like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace long enough, and then willing to send people like lowball offers, and when I say lowball, I mean I don't mean like totally they put offensive. A $400 amp up and you offer them $50, but right. You should be able to pick up a PV Classic 30 or a Fender Hot Rod.
You might be getting close to half of that budget, maybe, or slightly under. Which is funny, because you asked for a worship rig, and these two guys said, "Oh, you're going to dump more than half of your thing in the amp." Where most people like have a $1 million pedal board and then like a 5-watt something or other with a 10-inch speaker,
or they buy a $30 Joyo.
Yeah,
simulator.
Which that's pedal. Fine, but we're probably kind of the opposite. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. Like we've talked about that, and we operate in that space and whatever. When Brian said a Katana, I played through a Katana today. As a matter of fact, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's interesting. Guitar wise, there's a lot of options now. I mean, if you want a cheap, like inexpensive guitar, that Tajima Jazzmaster that we bought for like $230. Man, I've used that in the worship setting several times and really like it. The Tajima Strat
that we used to dance.
Yeah, I mean that's
$189 brand new.
$189.
Then I have even just like, I have a Mexican Telly that I paid like $300 for. I mean, it's about 7, 8, 9, 10 years old now. But like, you could do it
for $600. I'd be looking probably at the amp and the guitar first, but then
yeah, because really,
but like the Kaleen pedals are like Kaleen Overdrive is a nice overdrive for $20.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know why you got us. It's like, here's a rabbit hole. Why don't you jump down?
Which is fine, because we're going to talk about another giant rabbit hole that we're going to be jumping down soon.
All right, so
yeah, the HX Line 6 HX Stomp. Esty, I think, left our beard cave and went out and bought one. We're not sure what happened, if he hit his head on the way out, but no, they're nice. Like I've seen a lot of people using them.
And that's if you would do that. I don't know how they run, but if you did that,
right.
You have your cab simulators. You have depending on where you're playing. Yeah. So if you're playing in a church that does in-ears, if you're playing a worship setting that does in-ears and doesn't do live amps, that might be a good way to go. You could run that. I would love to come and watch you do it. Because I wouldn't. I can't do it.
It's hard.
Some people can do it. I can't.
Go back down because your arms are longer than mine. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's right. Brian's large and in charge.
Brian getting his
yeah,
lunch.
I like Dan in New Jersey. It's not me. I have a 50-watt Vox and an 80-watt trainer. I don't kid around. No, you do not. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, the Tagima guitars are good quality, like the import Fenders. You know what I mean? It's a matter of fact, some of the appointments are very Fender-esque, and that was the comment when the first time by. There's 2 videos on that, Stephen. I don't know if you've seen them. The one is a quick unboxing. The other one is he's going to grab it, which I thought that would happen. The other one is more of a deep dive with our friend Esty, who comes over, who came over because he's really adept in the worship space, and he liked it. He's a Strat guy, but he came and played it and liked it. He said that would be like another one if he had a dual gig bag, he'd throw that one in. But Jason got it kind of for the show. What's it all about? Probably going to flip it, and he's not going to flip it. He's not flipping it. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm probably this one's staying. I do like
still
it that
the
much.
original strings.
Still the original.
Wow,
strings.
that's crazy.
That just shows you how lazy we are sometimes.
Well,
about certain things.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, it's all but in tune.
Of course, you have like.
But this was a $230. This was a $230 guitar, and it does sound.
Probably have the least praise and worship board set up right now down there, but yeah. You got to delay a drive, but then you have like a Leslie pedal and a tuner. So real quick, was it Brian? I watched that one that Phil McKnight did. He did like the medium grade Tajima. There's the import ones, and then there's the middle grade that are made in Brazil, and then there's like the handmade ones.
Yeah.
So he did the middle one that I think he never fully said what he actually paid for it because he bought it pre-owned, I think. But I think it said it was like $800. He didn't pay that for it, but that's a lot more than this one.
But this is. I've played it several times. And
yeah,
really
and
like
it's actually the big joke is like he'll bring his McCarty, he'll bring his number 1 and something else, and we're rehearsing before church, and he'll have the something else out, and when church starts, I look over and he's got the McCarty in his hand. But this one has survived maybe an entire service or
whole rehearsal, service,
6 songs. So it's not like it's insignificant. Yeah, no, I've played it too. I kind of liked it. Yeah.
So I mean that Stephen, if a jazz master would be your thing, because that's an interesting pickup selection. Mm-hmm. And I've run into P90s that I don't like, but I do, and I can't tell you what I don't like about the ones I don't like or what I like about these. I guess no, what I can't tell you is if I like these because these are not good representations of P90s, or I like these because they're great P90s, because I don't know what would be considered. It's like it's back to the Dumble amp. Yeah. I can't tell you it sounds Dumble-ish because I've never played a Dumble. I've never played a PRS McCarty with P90s in it. They're top of the line thing. So, but I can tell you I like these pickups. They did a nice job. They do a nice job in a live setting. What else is going on down there?
Yeah, that's true, Brian. A lot of the different PRS SEs you can get it at a good price.
Right.
That was one of them back there.
Right. So I have a PRS SE hanging up there. I think I got like $200 used.
Yeah, and it's the soap bar too. So again, it's a little different.
But Tajima has Strat style too. And then there's the Firefly guitars. Right? So, like, you have this whole line of, like, Firefly guitars that are going $140 for a double cutaway with P90s in it. They have a Les Paul one that's out. I forget what the Les Paul runs. They have, I think the thin line tellies are a little bit cheaper than that even. And then they have, like, hollow bodies for, like, $150 or something. So you have that whole... Now, I didn't have Chris do anything to this, but if I was buying the Firefly, I would plan on spending $50 to $100 to have somebody do a setup on it. So.
Yeah, Steven, back to what you're saying. There was also another episode that my friend of mine brought over his Strat style Tajima. That all at that point he'd only changed out the nut. It was like a bone nut. But that one stayed in tune. That one played well. So the two Tajimas that we have played met that criteria. A nice guitar that stayed in tune. Mm-hmm. Since that, our friend Dan has put a little bit of money into his, but
Dan said he preferred a Made in Mexico Strat.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I have a Made in Mexico Telly. It's great. You have a Made in Mexico Telly too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a Made in Mexico Strat?
I have a Japanese Strat from the 80s.
There's nothing wrong with the Mexican
right.
Strats and Tellys. Like, and you can find those.
Yeah.
You can find a used Made in Mexico Strat or Telly at a.
Yeah, unless it's totally jacked up. You can go take it to your favorite guitar guy, and between $35 and $50, they can make it exactly playable. You know, they can work out some minor details. Just a setup. Like a lot of times you get a guitar, you buy it on the internet. Worst case scenario for me, it's a setup. I've never had one that had something significantly wrong with it.
Right.
But
so here would be my other piece of advice on this. Because if you get on, as we're going down the praise and worship circle, if you get on one of those like worship message boards or something and start looking for advice, they start throwing out at you like Sir guitars and Duesenbergs. Well, Duesenberg is kind of not hip anymore. I'm not even sure what the new
it's
hip
probably
one
my
is.
fault because
Right.
I have one, so it's a dad guitar now.
But they're throwing out tons of really expensive guitars. They're throwing out tons of really expensive stuff. There's even like sometimes like Les Paul's Strats aren't like praise and worship guitars, but
yeah.
I'm sorry, like, you know, I'm with Race. We did that field trip to Ray Santana. You can play any style of music on any style of guitar.
Right.
Find one that you like. Find one that sounds good to you. Find one that plays well when you hold it, and forget what people are saying about. So take your budget, go within your budget, find something that. Right? I mean, like,
I'm just chuckling. I'm chuckling because the hamster's running for two things. One, we just reviewed my mini travel board, which, from a budget standpoint, I'd have to add it up. Like, other than the Carbon Copy Deluxe, the delay I had on there was relatively expensive. Everything else wasn't. Right? So I was thinking about that's coming out at some point, Stephen. These are not shameless plugs for you to go watch our videos.
Sure they are.
But it answers some of the question because I was trying to put together a secondary board, a travel board, that was more inexpensive, smaller pedals, and we just reviewed that. But the other thing you were talking about, like, guitars don't matter. One of the favorite things from either Ray told the story, or you told me the story. He walked into a blues gig with was it with a mandolin?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy goes, "We don't play that kind of music around here," and he's like, "Neither does it." So he's playing blues on a mandolin. So, well, Harley Benton, there you go. Harley Benton, there's one rumored to be headed this way.
Yeah, we'll be checking that.
Again, maybe not from the Harley Benton line. Maybe not the ultimate praise and worship because it's a single P90, right? Or is it a double? What is the Harley Benton?
It's a single P90.
So single P90, I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's more.
At least the Firefly has the two P90s. You get more of the neck warmness and the bite of the bridge. But Harley Benton's in general, we're anxious to get our hands on one of those because those have sort of been all the rage. Yeah, you're right, Brian. So we'll start a GoFundMe page for Steven and we'll make up the difference. Yep. And a new guitar hack jumped in.
Yep. I've seen his channel a bit. Good. So welcome. Hello, Guitar Hack. Thanks for coming, man. Brian said he was going to try and figure out how to talk me out. I guess this Strat.
What's
Brian?
up? What did he say? Oh, this one. Yeah.
There was
this one. He actually
trying to still figure out how to trade Jason out of that Strat.
Well, you know what's really funny? Can I jump in here real quick? So this Strat, I've talked about this Strat before. It's Jason's, and I'm playing it, and the grain and everything is really cool, and the abalone fret markers and the whole spiel. It's the noiseless pickups, locking tuners. and it's rumored that his wife hates this guitar. And is
it's not a rumor.
I'm just trying to be nice.
There's no rumor about it.
As some of you know that have dialed into these live streams in the last month, she had significant surgery, right? But she's been, I use this phrase, she's dragging her carcass to church. Well, Jason showed up on Sunday with this, and I looked at him and go, oh my gosh, is Mrs. Beard not feeling well? Is she not coming to church today because you brought the guitar? But no, this is a great guitar. You might have to be second in line, though, Brian. I got...
I kid you not.
I'm not sure.
Right after we started playing, I got a text message, and it said, that is an ugly guitar.
Oh, at church?
Yeah, and I texted back, my beautiful wife makes up for it, right? But I'm glad, I hopefully she's driving, they're not watching, because I don't want her to know that anybody would be interested in that, because that was my first guitar. Did you have the little pocket knife?
I do have a pocket
knife.
I'm prepared. I just want to play this for you. What's not to love? Anyway, so...
Let's do the pocket knife.
You want to do the pocket knife or you want to back into it? I know you want to do it, but are we going to...
No, it's time.
We're going right for it? Are we going right to that?
We're going right to that.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
It is to me. It is to me. I'm the guy that will track down a celebrity guitar player at NAMM to get my picture taken and say hi. So I don't know. He's saying it's not a big deal. Well, not that it's not insignificant, but I think it's a pretty big deal, personally.
So they know we're getting ready to do a Leslie series. So this is kind of
she caught you.
That fell out. It's a guitar.
She's chiming in somehow. She's got one eye on.
Is she home?
I don't
didn't
know.
hear her come home.
I didn't hear Zelda announce her arrival, but anyway.
I'm driving. Kaylee is typing for me.
I think we should back into that. You've got a knife out,
Well, okay,
so you've got a knife out, so you can do whatever you want.
So yeah, I mean, here we go. If you've been watching, we've been telling you that we have a plan for a series on Leslie pedals, and
you keep talking. You're in charge,
right? And so it's a deep dive, let's do them all, so to speak. But Leslie pedals, they tend to be a lot of money. You forgot that there's the Strymon Lex over there. We forgot to pull that over. So they tend to be kind of expensive. So we decided that we were going to start reaching out and be like, hey, would you mind helping us out, be part of the series? Yes. And so some pedal manufacturers have given us a pretty big discount. I think we can say that.
This one?
Yeah, so the Keeley. And I mean, it's called the Dyno My Rotor, and it is Dyno My Roto, and it is dynamite.
Yeah, it's really great because it does more than just that, but it does all of the three things very well. But so I kind of got my way, and you're kind of getting your way. We're crescendoing with that.
Crescendoing.
So I've interrupted you with holding.
All right, so we have an unboxing.
Yeah,
we have an unboxing. There's a couple other ones. There's that are here already. We have the Strymon Lex. We have the Option 5 Destination Rotation, which is down there. There's the Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere is on my board. That's only coming home when we need it to come home. There's a possibility we have a line on a Leslie speaker, a possibility. And then...
Dan, what part of New Jersey do you live in?
Yeah, Dan, what part of New Jersey? Because it's in New Jersey. We need to get hold of it. Yeah, and there's some other ones coming.
So between you scouring Reverb and you, through the magic of the interweb and the new version of the pen and paper you've sent out, you were starting to say invitations right. To be involved in what we're about to do.
Would you like to be part of? I mean, we're a small channel, but this is a big idea. So
we don't have a problem with Strymon other than they're just expensive. But,
who said what?
Dan of New Jersey said, "I'm a Strymon fan. No apologies. I don't dislike them.
Oh no." That Strymon Lex is the first real Leslie pedal I had, and it's awesome. In fact, I wanted to not have to take... I wanted to keep it here. And so the tube Rotosphere ended up on the pedal board that stays at church. And that thing is...
Brody checking in. Brody, we're talking about pedals, and we're talking about a series that we're going to do about Leslie pedals, and this is an unboxing.
You know what? I think the reason Pat is so excited about this, This is probably... I think this is the first free.
I think first significant, right? We were given some gig bags and a couple things of a lower end gig bag, right? But
this is the first legitimate... Significant.
There's a couple others in the pipeline, but this is the first one to hit your porch.
This is the first one to land on the porch. There's at least 2 other companies right now that have already... Well, we can't dive into those 2 companies right now.
Not yet. No, because the one company, it's pedals that aren't even out yet. That's crazy.
We can't.
It just keeps getting crazier. So
we can't dump into that at all. So, packing slip.
It came from where? It came from
the Fender warehouse,
San Bernardino, California. The fine people at Fender.
Yeah. So here it is. The pinwheel. Mm-hmm. The first free.
Well, it's funny because we were talking amongst ourselves because
those cases
we're the only people that we talk about. That's true.
They don't count.
But we're talking amongst ourselves, kind of like, well, some people be like, well, it's Fender, so sure they can. I mean, it's Fender; they could give stuff away if they want. But then on the other hand, it's like it's Fender. Like they give it to two schmoes like us when they can have anybody demo their stuff.
Right.
And now these are, I guess, this is probably from that series that was released like 2 years ago when they sort of got back into the pedal game and did it right. I think most of the reviews on those pedals came back really glowing. So
yeah, I mean look at that, all brand new and sparkly.
I saw a red piece of paper that said free. Were those extra knobs? What's that?
They didn't even send us.
They're the feet.
It's not even a factory second. Boy, that thing's...
They're tanks.
Fender pinwheel. LEDs on off. Guitar, keyboard, dynamics, FS select on the back. You got drive, tone, fast, slow, sensitivity, 3 different modes, ramp and level, bypass, slow, break, mono and stereo inputs and out, and a knob for expression pedal. And I think aren't these the one where the battery compartment just...
I thought there was something unique about them, but I don't remember. I do see screws that hold on the case.
I think maybe they've changed that because there was some where the battery compartments kind of just popped down.
It was a little bit like the old.
It was like magnetic or something.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not this one.
Nope.
That green.
So there you have it. So cool. I mean, this is, to me, this is a big deal. And kind of we're still going to be ourselves, and we're going to do our things the way we do them, and hopefully they like them, and we can con them into sending us some other stuff.
All right, so what do we got?
Dude, this is well beyond your 3 knobs. It's got 5 input outputs.
Brody Hutchins said badge. Exactly. You know what, Brody? I've been working on a playlist of just like popular songs that have featured Leslie's in them on YouTube, and we'll put that out eventually, which it's like there's like 35, 40 songs in there right now. Badge is definitely one of those. Guitar Hack never tried to Strymon. Guitar Hack, they're great. The Strymon stuff is amazing. It's really expensive. And I went for the one Strymon pedal that's very like, the Lex is like, it's a Leslie pedal.
Right.
It doesn't have like a whole bunch of other things. So, let's see. I'm waiting for the in-depth. James Moss is waiting for an in-depth review on beard oils.
We have a beard oil.
Right. It's
pick holder.
It's Amish.
Honest Age? Or Honest Amish?
Honest. Let's see.
Being that it's not endorsed, you don't have to worry too much about it. But
it is Honest Amish. Here, we can do that.
We're in that part of the country.
Right, yes. Their oil and their heavy-duty beard balm, apparently. There's not going to be any in-depth reviews on it because...
There it was.
That's all I get. I'm not going to lie. Amazon. So waiting for in-depth. Stephen Whitney asked, "What is our go-to guitars?" I think we could get onto that. Guitar Hack said big footprint on the Fender pedals. For some reason, all the Leslie pedals have a big footprint. That's a little bit bigger than some of the other ones I've seen. That's heavy too.
It is. Yeah, I mean it's probably about the same size as the Lex, probably. The Strymon, maybe.
Probably about the same.
Yeah.
A little heavier, maybe.
I mean, it's not. It's not this. I thought this was a joke when he sent it to me, but then I heard it. It's no joke.
Brian has to go. I hope you feel better, Brian. He had a long, bad Monday, so I'm hoping he feels better.
Who's going to moderate now? We gave you all... Was the power too
all
much?
That power.
The weight of the power just crushed you. Hey, Brian, we talk about you all the time, man. Thanks for being such a good friend of the show and becoming personal friends with us via the interweb. So, yeah, at the risk of sounding like incredible snobs, our go-tos are PRSs. And several of them, right? Like, I'm just saying, because you're probably one... And I don't know, is that two back there? Like, it would be mine. Oh, I'd take it if he's. I'm waiting for this answer because I'm see which guitar I'm leaving with.
This is definitely number one. I mean, this has been the go-to guitar for me for years and years and years. So it's a PRS. It's a 2000 PRS McCarty. Love it. As far as number two goes, I have that Swamp Ash Special and the hollow body, but number two kind of floats in and out, but this one has been like, this is home, right? So what's the go-to guitar? This is home, and it's not because it's just because this is home. There's something in the way the PRSs are laid out, the way the volume knob works with the. I know I don't know. PRS are weird. It seems like people either hate them, love them, or hate them.
I love them. This is. Not number one, but it's the one that's here. I get lazy because there are so many nice guitars laying around here that I think this is the only guitar. I've left this here for a little while, but I have a 2008 PRS hollow body single cut, and I love it. It's super light. It's got Starla pickups on it with push pull, so I could split the coils. This particular one, actually, Brody's on the show. Brody, yes, Pat Reed Suitor guitars. I like that. That's good. Brody actually had one before I had any, and then this was not the first one I got, but this one is pretty close in serial number to the one he has. But this is a custom 24 95 that came out of the old factory before they moved to Stevensville. But PRSs, but I do. This is Jason's guitar. I'm just putting it back on. But I do like. I have a telly that I like. That's kind of simple. Like when I first started leading the music from electric guitar, I went with a telly because it's just so simple. But yeah, Paul Reed Smiths are the go-to. Not that we can't kind of get pretty comfortable with other guitars.
Well, Hack said that he's never been able to bond with a PRS yet. And it's funny because this was my first real electric guitar.
It's a 98?
98, I think.
Yeah.
And I played that for a couple of years. I bought the 2000 McCarty, and I kept playing this, and I was like, man, I just can't, whatever. And then all of a sudden, boom, like I got it with that one, and then I can't hardly play a Strat anymore. But for me, Guitar Hack, it's the volume knob. I know it sounds so stupid, and I know people get sick of hearing about it. Chris gets sick of hearing about it. But the volume, the taper on the PRS,
all your friends who like Gibsons get sick of hearing about it.
I have trouble with that one because it still has that rotary knob.
Yeah.
So the McCartys have the 3-rig toggle, one volume knob, one tone. So when I go to like a Les Paul, which is a Les Paul sitting right here, but when I go to that, I'm so used to just hitting that switch back to the neck and knowing where the volume is because there's only one pot, that when I go to like a Les Paul with two pots, and I get kind of, it's like, I'll flip back there and there'll be nothing because it's off, or I'll want something soft and flip back there and it will be everything. And, so the setup on that, the McCartys especially, but I think a lot of their other guitars have gone to like the 3-way toggles and stuff now too, right?
Yeah. James Moss, I've had people talk about the Vela. I'm interested to play one because they're going to different things. I mean, they had all of, which is now the core line, which is funny to say that because we were buying PRSs when that's all they made, and then they had an EG. So Brody was involved in helping a group of people getting me an original EG for a significant birthday of mine. So I've only had like core line stuff. but then they made the Starla and the Mira before they went S2 or SE. And now they have the S2s and they have the SE. So there are a lot of things in that line that are at various price points.
Brody said that the rotary knob overwhelms him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. The hollow body.
I love it.
If you want an experience, pick up one of the PRS hollow bodies, because you just don't, like, I've wanted one for a long time and I finally found one, but the first time you pick one up, you just don't, you're not prepared for it. Like, you're prepared, you have that muscle memory to pick up a guitar,
Yeah. Like,
how heavy you think it's going to be, and you put your hand around a hollow, because they are true hollow bodies. There's not a block running through the middle like on a 335. And I mean, they're light as can be, and you can feel the wood vibrate against your chest as you play them. I mean, there's something amazing there.
Yeah, James, I mean, I am kind of, well, I guess, how do I say this? I feel like I'm a PRS fanboy because I was a PRS fanboy because I liked the guitars before they became super popular. Like, they were starting to. Like, it was Fender Gibson, and then you'd start watching the Grammys, and you'd watch different concerts, and they'd start to pop up. But was fortunate enough to get core ones that are considered core now at really great used prices. This is the only reason I have several, is because of that. And my first two, well, the first one had a rotary switch, the second one had a rotary switch, so I kind of got used to that.
Well, and the McCarty, when I bought it, was an expensive guitar, but probably half what a McCarty is today.
Yeah, right.
For me, it was a local guy. There was a local guy, really, when I was 18 to 22, 23 years old. There was a local guy that played a PRS, and I used to go watch that band every weekend, and that was it for me, you know, just watching that PRS every night and how good he made it sound. Mm-hmm. So that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I like the way they play. I like the way they feel, personally. Got a couple different ones, excuse me, with different neck profiles, but they all feel pretty comfortable to me. So,
well, and then like the McCarty I had here, the Swamp Ash Special, and the hollow body up there all have the same pickups in it.
Yeah,
so like
yeah,
as I go from guitar to guitar, and they have the same neck cut, and they have their own unique things about them and their own unique sounds. But there's like a home to me. I don't know. Enough about that.
Yeah. I've only had one Gretsch. It was a Gretsch Viking. I liked it. It was a little. It was a 1967, so it was a little cantankerous. But I have a Duesenberg Carl Carlton that, for me, in some ways, scratches that Gretsch itch, kind of, sort of. But also, I think that the Starla pickups on my PRS kind of give me a little Gretsch feel at times. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I'm actually trying to figure out if I get another PRS, I kind of feel like I've got to get a different pickup configuration or something. But because every one I have is different. That has dragons in it. I have ones that have the original HFS first pickups. I have that's 2000. I have 2001 single cut, which I think they call those sevens or something. I forget. And then the EG has Lindy Fralin domino pickups in it. So anyway, somehow we just got. Yeah, show us the Swamp Ash Special. Where is it? You had it at church a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's actually in a bag.
Look at that. We'd pan around the room, but we won't. Because it already looks like a frat house down here, littered with guitar gear, which I could think of nothing better to litter a house with. But yeah, so I mean, that McCarty hollow body back there is great. But here it comes.
So there's Swamp Ash.
Ta-ra.
So it has two humbuckers, and I've never been 100% certain. I guess that's is it a humbucker or is it a rail? It's a P rail or it's a hot rail. I'm not sure. Somebody would probably know. And I can't even tell you now when you pull the toggle, it splits some of the coils and some of the. I think it splits the front humbucker, but not the back. And then, but you can get some very Stradley-like sounds out of it. Maple neck. bolt-on. This one's a bolt-on. This was pretty much always number 2. So when I was gigging, and I would take 2 guitars, I would take the McCarty, and then I would take this as the backup because of broke a string or whatever. You know, this was a really comfortable place to go.
So, I mean, as you can see, Jason and I have not purchased a PRS in
Right.
17 years or
Well,
whatever.
that's not, the Hollow Body was not too long ago.
Okay.
3 years ago.
Before I knew you.
No,
Really? You bought that after I knew you?
I think so.
Okay. All right. And it's got the piezo pickup. Oh my gosh, sounds just like a stinking acoustic.
I think I did. I did buy
I
it.
don't know. I feel like I don't know. Whatever. I just knew that when someone told me about him, like, hey, a friend of mine's been coming to church. He kind of sits in the back, kind of interested in playing. I'm like, well, should he come to rehearsal? I'm like, yeah, bring a guitar. So of course I did what everybody does. I went and stalked social media, and the second I saw a PRS, I'm like, I really don't care what this guy sounds like. Just bring it.
Nice.
And then I found that he had more than one. So
Guitar hack class we gig. Well,
infrequently.
Well, it depends on what you call how you look at it. We gig every Sunday morning.
Right.
Yeah, we never think of that as a gig.
Right. Well, that's where we play, almost
Probably.
primarily / quasi exclusively for me these days.
Yeah.
So
So
we
play every Sunday morning, pretty
Play
much.
in a really modern church, you know. Pretty much the equipment you're seeing here winds up on the stage in some form or another, and kind of a 6-song format, so quite a bit of music and fast, slow, medium solos, slow songs. So kind of.
I haven't done the band thing where out gigging in quite a while. I did it for a long time.
Yeah, you did.
And blues jams from time to time and things like that. So I guess we do not get paid to play in clubs late at night anymore.
Right.
We've traded the late at night. And let me tell you, it was a really hard transition for me. It's really hard to go from, dark and dingy and dank to, like, I guess...
I keep it kind of dark in that room.
It's kind of dark in the
I look
room,
much
but it
better
just...
that way.
Everything smells clean.
Yeah, that's true. You're not walking through beer stickiness.
I told Pat the first time I ever went to rehearse at a church.
Oh yeah, sorry.
First time I ever did it, like it was kind of right. The band I was playing in was still gigging about once a month. We were down to like this one club that we like to play and doing that once a month, and still doing blues jams or whatever. But I go into the first rehearsal at that place and set my amp down, took my guitar out, took my strap out, and then opened. I had like this gray box with all the cables and stuff in. I opened that, and it was like a presence came out. The whole place smelled like a bar. Just immediately. Anybody, guitar hack, you have to know what I'm talking about, right? Like my strap, my guitar, my case, my amp all stunk, but that box that, you put like all the chords and everything in, when I opened that, it was just like a being came out of that, and it just... I was so, like,
and not a celestial being.
I was just like, I'm really sorry, but what I didn't know is that every musician on that stage, except for the worship leader, was a former clubber, played in bands, played in clubs.
Pubs and clubs.
What's it called? Pubs and
clubs.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Hey, I didn't say I'm against still doing the dark and dingy. There's a thing to that, but.
Yeah, a number of people that I play with at church, like you said, do that or did that. I got one friend who used to joke that he was on the antler circuits, the elks, the moose, the deer lodge, elks, moose, yeah.
But yeah, I would love. I mean, sometimes it's a different thing. We get to open up a little bit from time to time, but then it's not like opening up there. Right.
It's not wide open, but it's open. I mean, it's as the discussion that was taking place earlier when you're talking to someone asking about can you create a worship, setup for $600 to $650, and the first thing we're like was, well, you're going to spend half of that on an amp. that was the number one clue that like we're not the atypical. So. Nice. Well, James, though, if you wear a belt buckle, though, you can get some buckle rash, and if you bump it on a mic stand, you get some relicking on the guitars, even though they won't be yellow. Excuse me.
You see the layer of yellow filth over the ears. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's going away. Most of the places are not smoking now. This is probably good. There's times. Some things get a layer of yellow filth in a night. Some of this places. But unreal. So, what do we have going on here? This is the option 5. Should I hit that? People get tired of Leslie's, right?
Me? I
I mean, talking about Leslie's again.
Tremolo's probably my favorite, and so they're a distant cousin. I think they ride the same bus to school, but yeah, I mean, I got Tremolo today. I do not, James. I have 2 friends that do have the toxic hands. One of them is the one that borrowed my banter guitar, so I think I got new strings and like 2 extra sets because he was like, I used to, like, a friend, he had nice guitars too. I'm like, oh, take this home and try it. He goes, nope, because I'll have to change the strings because I have got toxic hands. Yeah. I guess I've been blessed with, like, you know, not such bad oils, but
I think Dan Mary's like that. He touches your strings and
you
have the same set of strings and they're fine for ever. He plays it one time for 5 minutes and they're rusty, right? Overnight.
Yep. So we're going to start working our way through the various Leslie pedals that are here, and there are significantly more to come that were under discussion about what we want that series to look like. It was a really interesting idea from Jason to do that because there are an infinite number of Leslie pedals. There is an infinite number of delays and drives and other things.
Right.
So you can take a pretty deep and comprehensive dive into that world.
But it's not like... I don't think you could make a list of all the delay pedals in the world. No. Or all the drive pedals in the world. But you can get a pretty comprehensive list of the Leslie pedals, specifically. And then, then you do start to branch out. Like, so are you going to... We're not including vibe pedals in there. So, like, your micro vibe and your dry bells... vibe machine and things like that, probably not including that in that list. That could be its own thing, even though they're pretty closely related. Trying to stick to just strictly Leslie pedals.
Right.
And so some cool stuff.
So that's coming up. Although we're not sure how soon we're going to start releasing it, but we'll be working on those for sure, and hopefully getting that pocket knife out several more times to cut things open and check them out. Oh yeah, I was worried about me.
It's the guitar.
That's right. It's Brazilian. Yeah. We have a celebrity appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, Zelda. She doesn't care. She's not like quite like Alex from Stroh. She didn't bring us a drink, but she does know how to open the door. Go.
If you guys ever modded guitars, and would you modify the Tagima? We replaced the bridge on the Firefly we bought.
Yeah.
I have, you know what, Guitar Hack, if he's still in here, Hack, we both, right? You have this exact guitar, I believe. So a Les Paul, it's a classic. I'll send her upstairs.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I did modify that. I took the pickups out of that original pickups out. We put thornbuckers in. Let me get rid of the dog.
Oh, I don't mind her.
No, but she's gonna knock something.
Oh, here we go.
Come here, girl.
The Amazing Zelda, ladies and gentlemen. While he performs animal control from the sweetest dog on the planet, I did pick up the old distant cousin, a tremolo today. Brody's going to bed. He lives an hour in a place where it's an hour earlier. All right, Grandpa. Guitar Hack answered your question while you were gone.
Yeah. Did you keep the same pickups in, or did you swap them out? Because they came with. They were pretty. I think they were pretty hot. They were really hot pickups that didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, James, the only thing I've ever gotten brave and done is pretty much every Strat or Tele that I have, I end up getting the Perloid pickguard. I like the outside of that, and I'm not even sure I put them on myself. I'm not brave. I'm just not brave that way. I'm just not literally and figuratively.
I think I had a Perloid on that for a while.
Then you went back to. I think it needs to come back.
No,
it doesn't. Okay.
No.
If I'm going to continue to play this guitar, it's got to have more flash.
So, yeah, good night, Brody. Probably good thing. Is there anything else that we were going to talk about that we didn't?
No, I emptied off the music stando stuff over here.
Because, I mean, it's a school night.
Yeah, it was the Believe and the Time After Time that we did, and you showed the bone tender that it paired up with, and then we have the pile of Leslie pedals, and based on our discussion, a few extra guitars came off the wall, which is always cool with us.
Yeah. What happened? Oh,
What'd you lose?
Sitting back down.
Did you lose a guitar?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of those around. So if there's no other questions, I think maybe it's time to start wrapping this up, man.
You don't have the Believe on the board anymore. What do you want to play?
I don't know.
That same is probably not the same thing, or can you want to Leslify that thing, or you want to do something different?
I don't care. What do you want to?
Well, we can
think about.
He's not here tonight, but in the honor of the missing Joe
Oh,
Harvey.
that's not how the Joe Harvey.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we end up playing kind of what we were playing, and this is not a copyrighted song. Pat came up with this. You came up with this chord progression.
Oh yes, that's right.
Right. It's
sounds
really cool.
Yeah.
I think you ought to play it.
I think it's called like "Hey Bro" or something. We'll start without tremolo.
Hey,
We'll have some. Yeah, hey bro.
Hey Brody would be a.
There you have it. So you got your starting on that Leslie pedal. You got your second win. See you, Guitar Hack.
Yeah, man.
Well, we enjoyed hanging out. We appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Thank you for the conversation. That's a big reason why we started this. Not just to get free stuff from Fender, but to start a conversation and have a conversation with other guitarists with different influences, different things. Learn some stuff from each other, and think about maybe doing that series of worship on a budget, something like that. Put together. I don't think we can use that as a thinly veiled excuse to go buy anything. I think we might have all the components lying about. So,
I mean, Fender sent us a pedal, and a couple other people are, but I still think it's going to break me, right?
Yeah.
Trying to pull it together, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
One-stop shop. You want to find out what's going on with some of those pedals. So, have a great rest of your week, Guitar Hack. You too, and everybody else. Have a great rest of your week. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we always forget to talk about that, but it really is a help if people subscribe, and we'd love to have you. So if you haven't done that, please do that.
that's you. You're the one making the extraneous noises tonight, not me. It's usually me. I'm clean.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
I'm gonna sign out because I gotta go walk.
You gotta walk over there,
so
and
you
I'm gonna end where I started. I will be waiting time after time. Girls just want to have fun. Peace.